Hello friends, today we will see how you can create vendor registration process using Power Automate, SharePoint and List. Before I start, let me introduce myself. Hi, I'm Sandeep Misra. I have more than 14 years of experience in Microsoft technology, especially in Microsoft 365 and Dynamics 365. So let's get started. So let's see how this process is working. And after that, we will see step by step how you can create vendor registration process in your organization. So let me share my screen. And I already created a SharePoint list to store our vendors. So let's add a new vendor. So I'm going to add my personal email address. You can add your vendor email address here for approval, and then you will assign to a manager. So I'm going to assign to myself. I will approve that vendor, and after that you will just save it, because all those information what you can see here we need from our vendor. So I will save. Once you will save, you can see this item in list, and after that the vendor will get an email. So let's see. So let me refresh. So let me refresh again. It might can take few seconds, and after that we can see that. So it's running right now. So let's go back to our email. You can see I got an email for vendor registration form. I will click on this link, and vendor will submit this form. For example, Sandeep vendor. You can add anything in phone number for now. Business detail, STW, vendors, GST. I will add anything for now. Address, demo address, and vendor will submit this form. Now let's go back to our list so we can see it's getting updated. So let me refresh. Now you can see data is here, and let's go back to our approval process. So here you can see we got an approval process for Sandeep vendor. Whatever information I filled over there, I can see here. So your manager will see all those information submitted by vendor, and based on that he can make decision that he's going to approve that particular vendor or not. So you can see I have all the details as a manager, so I can reject or I can approve. So let me approve. Once I will approve, you can see now it's marked at marked marked at approved. So now let's go back to our list, and you can see here status was submitted, but now it's approved. So this is how you can create the complete flow using Power Automate, SharePoint list, and your vendor email address. So let's see how you can create this approval process in Power Automate. So let's see how I created this flow. So let me go back to my flow in edit mode. So click it. So what I created, like when an item is created in SharePoint, you can see this. When an item is created in SharePoint, so my SharePoint site is Sandy. So that is what I selected in first drop down. And after that, the list name, that is vendors. So trigger is when a item is created. So after that, I'm sending an email to our vendor. So as we have I renamed title as email, and that's why you can see over there, because in SharePoint list you can't change the title. So even though you will rename, but in Power Flow you will use it as the original name, and that's why you can see title here. So here, whatever the column I have as a email, that is the title column in SharePoint, and that's why I'm using title. So to title here, subject is you can add any kind of some subject you want based on your requirement. I just added onboarding form, and after that the vendor name in subject. So if you added vendor name, then it will go, otherwise it will be blank. So that is what you can see. When I received an email, it was blank. Nothing was there. So it is up to you that you want to add or not. And uh, vendor will get an form link. So you can see form link is here. So you will create a Microsoft form, and that is what you can embed here, right? So vendor will get an email along with a form link. So that is what you saw. I clicked on this link and filled this form. So that was the next step. After that, once you will submit that form, you will receive again the form is submitted. And here, as we don't know that when who will submit the form, like you are sending multiple emails to multiple people, and that's why you can see here we have for each. So in the context of this flow is working, in that context, so in the context of this flow is working, in that context, it will pick the data. So it's going in for each mode and then fetching all those responses, and then based on whatever we created, the ID we created for this particular flow, that is what I'm using to update the list. And that's why you can see I'm updating here. So whatever response I am getting from this form, I'm taking that in for each loop, and then I'm updating the SharePoint list using ID. So once we'll do that, the next step I'm doing is I'm fetching that item, because when we created this item, it was blank. After that, we updated. So as we updated, we need to fetch that item. So we'll have the updated data. And after that, you can see I'm using all these information based on the fetched item. Like you will see get item here. You can't use created item. If you are using when item was created, you will get blank data here, because all these variables contain blank information, and that's why I used get item, and I'm using all these information from this block. So in result, I will get information in my approval process, whatever we updated in our update process. So once approval is sent to our manager, after that, if manager is approving, then you will get this kind of email. For example, I got that email. Here you can see for approval. So this kind of email you will get. Otherwise, if rejected, you will get this email. So once approved, I'm updating that particular list with approved value. So this is the complete flow we have. So first, what you need to do is you will create when item is created, and after that you will create a Microsoft form, and then you will embed this form here, and then you will receive the response, then apply for each on that particular response, update the item using ID, and then fetch the item and send all those information using approval process. And based on approved or rejected, you will send another email to your vendor that your request is approved or not. So this is the complete process you will create in your vendor registration process. So based on your requirement, you can see, based on your requirement, you can adjust it, you can change it. This is the demo process. This is not the real process. So based on your requirement, you can create any kind of custom step you can add in between and complete your process. So that was the motto. So you can understand that how you can create the vendor registration process using Power Automate. Hope this will help. So with this is Sandeep Misra signing out till we meet again.